taking on Notre Dame. Brett and I were talking a little bit about our bowl history, first of all. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. Oh, what the heck? And so you guys can see that. But so pretty much we haven't played in an Orange Bowl since 2006. All right. So we haven't played in a Rose Bowl since 2000, or I'm sorry, Orange Bowl. What am I saying? Since 2005, if you will. We beat Florida State.
Great
our
game.
last major bowl win. What's that?
Great game.
Yeah. Our last major bowl win was this year, but before that it was against Utah in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
We've lost the Peach. Franklin's lost the Peach Bowl with us, the Outback, the Citrus Bowl, and the Rose Bowl, the Tax Slayer Bowl. All right, so pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's 5-5 in bowls with us. And again, like the last major bowl we won before Boise was Rose Bowl. So he has a good record. His presser today, he's wearing camo. It's a good look for sure. I like that camo. Just camo, you can't go wrong with camo, man. So really you can't. But we take on Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl Thursday the 9th. And we will potentially play Ohio State or Texas. I thought for sure that Georgia would beat Notre Dame. I guess I was wrong about Georgia, man.
I called it.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they would produce more on offense with their backup, but they didn't. As always, a lot of people talking crap in the comments. And Notre Dame fans are sure that they're going to win.
They're more delusional than any other fan I've ever listened to. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Saying they're going to dog walk us, which is hilarious because that would never happen.
Ohio State actually wins games. I still think they're the most delusional fan base in football, but college football. But Notre Dame says we're going to lose to them convincingly. All right, bring on the Irish. Playing Notre Dame every year in the early 80s, 90s was really exciting to watch. Definitely have a lot of history there, for sure.
Two blue bloods?
Two blue blood programs. Joey. Penn State has a lot of good historic games against Notre Dame. Last time we played Notre Dame was in 2007. That was the Jimmy Clausen era. We beat them pretty convincingly then too. And that was a 31-10 game. That's when the likes of Justin King were on the team. Anthony Morelli was the quarterback. Stuff like that. That's when
Derek Williams.
That team. Derek Williams, Deion Butler, Maurice Evans, Josh Gaines.
Great team.
Dan Connor. All those guys. Anthony Scarrato. That's when Derek Williams had that big punt return. I remember that. Todd Blackledge was calling that game with, I can't even remember the other guy's name, the announcer, but he wasn't that good. Like a well-known broadcaster in the sense that he did a lot, but I was never a fan of his. He would just. Yeah, he just wasn't that good. And then, dude, we had those years after the scandal where we had, terrible announcers for every game. I forget that one lady. She announces for ESPN sometimes. We had her all the time. We just had, bad game commentators because we were getting bad TV airtimes because we had a scandal. So, that kind
of... Now we get good air times and we get bad TV commentator still.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, my favorite is Todd Blackledge, Noah Eagle. His dad is Ian Eagle. Todd Blackledge, probably my favorite. I know, Brett, you like Kirk Herbstreit. I can't stand him whatsoever. I like Chris Fowler, State College guy. Who else? I like Brad Nessler, and I think it's the Danielson guy, Gary Danielson from CBS. I like those guys a lot. Those guys, I've been doing that a long time. Vern Lundquist was pretty good.
Yeah.
But not to get off on a tangent, but yeah, Joey, you're right. We've had a lot of good games. I remember the Snow Bowl. I think it was '93. Jerome Bettis was on that team. Yeah, a lot of back and forth, man. I think the time we played before, like 06 and 07, we got killed in 06 by Brady Quinn. I think before that, though, we played in like the 80s. It was Lou Holtz. They came here and we beat them. It was like -20 out. So a lot of historic games there, man. It used to be like Pitt, West Virginia, Notre Dame. Those were like the number 1 and number 2 all the time. Us playing against each other. You know, it's not like that anymore. But good history with Notre Dame. Good history for us with the Orange Bowl. But again, last time we played in the Orange Bowl, 2005. It was, you know, we played, I think it was like January of 06.
Yeah.
Beat Florida State. And then before that, you know, there was like the down years, if you will. Like 94. Well, obviously not 94, but played like they're in the 90s, in the 80s. We were the dynasty, like Alabama was. But like in the early 2000s, we played in the Outback Bowl, or was it? Yeah, so in '99, we beat Tim Couch and Kentucky in the Outback Bowl. 2000, we beat for the 99 season. We played in the Alamo Bowl, won 24-0. That was Jerry Sandusky's last game. And once again, all of the horrible stuff that happened aside, Jerry Sandusky was one of the best coaches to ever walk the face of the earth. He was really good. They picked off Vinny Testaverde 5 times in the national title game. And Vinny Testaverde, to this day, one of the most decorated college quarterbacks ever. He was really good. And then we didn't play again until 2003. We had those down years. 2002 was a decent year. I think that's when they beat Nebraska and all that stuff. And then we had like 4 or 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. We had 3 or 4 first-round picks. We had like Jimmy Kennedy, Bryant Johnson, Larry Johnson, and then another defensive lineman. I think it was Jerome Hayes.
What happened to Tony Johnson? He didn't make it to the NFL, right? He was a good college.
So, no.
He was a good college receiver. I mean, he was pretty good, but he didn't.
Played at State College. Yeah.
Yeah. He played with his brother.
And then after 03, we didn't play again until 06. Those were like our down years. They're in the early 2000s. Were a bunch of down years. 2005 is when they really turned it around. And then they beat Aaron Foster in Tennessee in the Outback Bowl. They beat Texas A&M, and I can tell you these without even looking at it. But Texas A&M, they beat them in the Alamo Bowl. Got smoked in the Rose Bowl by USC, probably the best team in the country that year.
Mm-hmm.
Capital One Bowl, they beat LSU. That was the Mud Bowl, pretty much. And then, you know, we consistently went to bowl games until we had our scandal, but lost in the Outback Bowl to Florida. I remember that. Matt McGlynn had 5 interceptions. Ticket City Bowl, that was after the scandal. Nick Suke in that game. He was absolutely horrendous. They gave up so many points and touchdowns to Case Keenum, who I think is still the all-time passing leader in college football. He had like 6 touchdowns against us. Like,
when the last time we played Georgia, we beat them in a bowl game, right? Last time we played them.
No, we lost against Georgia in the Tax Slayer Bowl.
I thought we won that game.
No, because I remember that game, man. That was a horrible game because Hackenberg.
No, we lost by. Yeah.
I think Hackenberg was in that game. And then right? Was that Hackenberg or was that McSorley? I think that must have been. Yeah, it was
I think
Hackenberg.
it was Hackenberg. Yeah.
Because I remember there was two guys from Penn State. There was a guy from Penn State and a guy from Georgia who both went to East Mississippi Community College. They were on Last Chance U.
Yeah, we only lost by a touchdown. It's not.
No,
it's not too bad.
It was just it was just tough to watch.
Yeah.
And then we lost in the Rose Bowl for that Cinderella season.
Crazy game.
Fiesta Bowl, Saquon's last year.
Yeah,
that was a crazy game. Lost to Kentucky. Benny Snell was on that team. Devin White, I think, was also on that team.
We should have never lost that game, though. That was a terrible game. Terrible game.
Like 4th overall.
McSorley had a rough game, but he was hurt. Yeah. He was playing hurt.
Who's that?
McSorley was playing hurt in that game. I remember that. Yeah. So that's why we lost. Yeah.
Memphis Tigers beat Cotton. That's when Journey Brown had that crazy run.
53 points in a bowl game.
Dude, I remember that Arkansas game too, man. That was freaking horrible. I think Sean Clifford played most of that game.
We had some opt-outs, though. We did.
Yeah. And we really turned it around in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Against Utah, smoked Utah. The Peach we lost last year, that was horrible. Just a bad game to watch. But again, no offense coordinator, bunch of opt-outs. Like we had
no defensive coordinator.
Didn't play. McGloin got knocked out in the locker room and didn't play the next City Bowl. Yeah. That was shoot, I forget the guy's name, but he almost broke his jaw, I think.
Jesus.
Good old Matt McGloin, he wasn't the best teammate, I don't think, from what I remember. Has a pretty good podcast now, but I think Rob Bolden played in that game, and he was absolutely horrendous as a quarterback.
I think he took a break from the podcast because I haven't seen him. He used to do it with Hannafin, right? Yeah,
did he
Tom
really?
Hannafin.
He did it with Hannafin?
He used to do it with Hannafin, I'm pretty sure. Now Hannafin's been doing it with Justin King. So Justin King was a newer addition to that podcast. Yeah,
because Hannafin, that's the same guy. He does like boxing and WWE, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's just WWE. I don't know about the boxing part, but Vance. I remember that. McGloin is mouthing off to. Gosh darn it, I can't remember, man. I can't remember the guy's name. There was a guy, some local guys from Central PA that played at Penn State for a while. There were some guys from like Phillipsburg High School in Pennsylvania, Phillipsburg Osceola High School. I think that was one of the guys that punched McGloin. I think he was the guy that punched him.
I can't remember
that, but I never saw it as the guy shouldn't have punched McGloin. He didn't have like the best reputation. He's pretty cocky. He was a walk-on, so he had that chip on his shoulder and everything. But anyway, keep the comments coming, guys. We'll throw them up. But that's just some history of bowl games. And then again, Brett, like I thought Franklin had to like win. What was the storyline? He had to win the Peach Bowl to
win every 6 major bowl games: the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl, and there's 6 of them.
He hasn't won.
He hasn't won the Peach Bowl. That's the only one.
So but he won the Sugar Bowl. When did he win the Sugar Bowl?
No, I think Penn State is a program, not Franklin. Penn State is a program,
but
yeah.
And then Texas beat us to it, but
Texas just beat us to it this past week. Yeah,
but
barely. They barely.
The storyline is though, I thought it was he had to win the Orange Bowl to win the 4 major bowls or something like that.
Oh, that could be true. Yeah,
because I think it's Rose, Sugar, Cotton. Yeah, it's definitely Rose, Sugar, Cotton, and then he had to win the Orange to get the 4th, whatever.
Well, we still need a Sugar then, right? But we haven't. We don't ever get the Sugar before because the way it was set up, a Big Ten team wouldn't go to the Sugar Bowl. But now it's a possibility with the new playoff system that we could next year. So, but yeah, I don't think he's played in a Sugar Bowl.
No. But I think the 4 major ones are Rose, Orange, Sugar, and Cotton. So he'd have to win, or is it Rose, Orange, Sugar, Cotton? So he would have to win. I can't remember what the storyline was, man.
Well, Fiesta's a big bowl too now. So
it was last year the storyline was he had to win the Orange Bowl to win the 4 major ones or something. So maybe it's Rose,
the Peach, yeah.
Cotton, Fiesta, and Orange. Or I don't know. I honestly, man, I don't even know. I can't remember. It was just last year.
It was the Peach Bowl you had to win.
Comment, huh?
It was the Peach Bowl. If you won the Peach Bowl, Penn State would have won all six New Year's 6 major bowls. Yeah.
That was the storyline.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Texas beat us to it this past week.